After studying this module, we shall be able to know the different elements of business environment, differentiate between the internal and external environment, understand the factors that influence the internal and external environment, compare and analyze the effect of micro and macro environment. Just as the life and success of an individual depends on his innate capability, including physiological factors, traits and skills to cope with the environment, the survival and success of business firm depends on its innate strength, the resource at its command, including physical resources, skill organization and its adaptability to the environment. A total business system thus consists of two sets of factors, the internal factors and the external factors. The internal factors are the factors over which the firm has control. It can alter or modify such factors as its personal physical facilities, organization and functional means, such as the marketing mix to suit the specific situation. These factors therefore generally regarded as controllable variables. On the other hand, the external factors are the factors beyond the control of the firm. For example, is economic environment, political environment, legal environment, socio-cultural environment, competitive environment and physical environment. These environment factors are therefore generally regarded as uncontrollable variables. As the environmental factors are by and large uncontrollable, the success of a firm depends to a very large extent on its adaptability to the environment, that is, its ability to properly design and adjust the controllable variables to suit the business environment. We shall now discuss the systematic outline of external factors. Economic environment. Economic conditions, economic policies and the economic system are the important external factors that constitute the economic environment of a business. The economic conditions of a country, for example, the nature of the economy, the stage of development of the economy are among the very important determinants of business strategies. When we talk about the economic environment, there has been a development of world economic integration and standardized products. Coca-Cola, Nissan, Marlboro cigarettes and examples of products which serve nearly every market. Generally, there have been four major changes. One, capital movements rather than trade have become the driving force of the global economy. Two, production has become uncoupled from employment. Three, primary product have become, within quotes, uncoupled from the industrial economy. And fourth, the world economy no more in the control of individual nations, despite large world economic share of USA, China and Japan. In a developing country, the low income may be the reason for the very low demand for the product. Also, there are number of economists and businessmen who who felt that the developed countries are no longer worthwhile propositions for investment because these economies have reached more or less saturation levels in certain respects. Political and legal environment. The government policies refer to the laws and legality that guide the land, and they go a long way to affect your business operations as marketer. For instance, government restrictions on the importation of a particular product might hinder the marketers playing in that particular field. For many businesses, non-market forces are as significant as market factors. The interaction between government institutions, elected officials, policy-oriented activists and NGO shape the political and legal environment for firms in ways that have direct implications for their bottom line. Political and legal environment has close relationship with economic system and economic policy. For example, the communist countries have a centrally planned economic system, for example in China. Apart from laws that control investment and related matters, there are a number of laws that regulate the conduct of business. These laws cover such matters as standard of products, packaging, promotion, etc. For example, in India, the advertisement of alcoholic liquor is prohibited. Advertisement including packaging of cigarette carries the statutory warning that cigarette smoking is injurious to health. At the same time, in countries like Germany, product comparison advertisements and the use of superlatives like best or excellent in advertisement is not allowed. Competitive environment. Competition is another very important external factor affecting a business. The business strategy of a firm is obviously influenced by its competitive situation. If a firm is less powerful than its competitors, it may fall in line with the policy of the strong competitors. There are, however, examples of very small firms achieving wonderful success and outstrips market leaders by appropriate marketing strategies. As per the Forbes magazine, as a business owner or sales professional, you have but no choice other than to become phenomenal at selling. The internet has given a lot more buying options for companies, and as a vendor, you have to adapt to be successful in highly competitive environments or make little to no money. The success story of Nirma Chemical Works started as a small scale unit in Ahmedabad in 1969 deserves mention here. Nirma has captured the market in a big way, leaving all its competitors in the organized and small sectors behind. Quality and a very low price have been the two most important reasons for its success. Socio-cultural environment. The social and cultural forces refers to the structure and dynamics of individuals and groups and their behaviors, beliefs, thought patterns and lifestyles, friendship, etc. Many of these trends go a long way to affect your marketing operations. The socio-cultural fabric is an important environmental that should be analyzed while formulating business strategies. The cost of ignoring the customs, traditions, tastes and preferences etc. of a people could be very high. The marketing mix will have to be so designed as best to suit the environmental characteristics of the market. Nestle, a Swiss multinational company, today brews more than 40 varieties of instant coffee to satisfy different national tastes. The differences in language sometimes poses a serious problem, even necessitating a change in the brand name. Pret was perhaps a good brand in India, but it did not suit in the overseas market, and hence it was appropriate to adapt prestige for the overseas market. Demographic environment. Demographic factors like the size, growth rate, age composition of the population, family size, educational levels, language, caste, religion, etc. are all factors which are relevant to business. A rapidly increasing population indicates a growing demand for many products. High population growth rates also indicate an enormous increase in labor supply. When the Western countries experienced the Industrial Revolution, they had the problem of labor supply, for the population growth rate was comparatively low. Labor shortage and rising wages encouraged the growth of labor saving technologies and automation. But most developing countries today are experiencing a population explosion and situation of labor surplus. The government of developing countries therefore encourages labor intensive methods of production. Cheap labor and growing markets have encouraged many multinational corporations to invest in developing countries. Physical and technological environment. Physical and technological factors may affect business conditions and prospects. Physical factors such as geographical factors, weather and climate conditions may call for modifications in the product, etc. to suit the environment, because these environmental factors are uncontrollable. Technology posed much challenges to marketers. It affects the kind of product that you as a marketer can offer. For instance, technology have changed products like typewriting machines into a more proficient computer systems. You cannot stop the advancement of technology, but you can learn to adapt it to changes. Technological factors sometimes pose problems. A firm which is unable to cope with the technological changes may not survive. Further, the differing technological environment of different market or countries may call for product modification. For example, many appliances and instruments in the USA are designed for 110 volts, but this need to be converted into 220 volts in the countries which have that power system. International environment. The international environment is very important from the point of view of certain categories of business. It is particularly important for industries directly depending on imports or exports and import competing industries. For example, oil prices hike have seriously affected a number of economies. These hikes have increased the cost of production and the prices of certain products such as fertilizers, synthetic fibers, etc. The oil crisis also prompted some companies to resort to demarketing. Demarketing refers to the process of cutting consumers' demand for a product back to the level that can be supplied by the firm. Some oil companies, for example the Indian Oil Corporation, for example, have publicized tips on how to cut oil consumption. We will now analyze the difference between internal and external factors. Understanding the difference between internal and external business environments is very important. These environments have a major effect on the operations and performance of the company. To fully understand the difference between internal and external business environments and how they apply to your company, you need to establish what each environment represents. As the name suggests, internal business environment refers to internal factors and resources that affect the running of the business. This primarily includes the workforce. The employees play a vital role in affecting the company's performance. If you have a well-trained, motivated employees, you are more likely to get good output from them. However, if you have unmotivated employees, this will definitely affect your company's production levels. Another factor is the company assets available, such as plants and machinery, motor vehicles and any other equipment used in production. If you have adequate assets in good condition, your production will be better than if you don't. On the other hand, external business environments include factors like political, technological, economical, legal, demographic and socio-cultural. These factors may not have an immediate direct effect on your business, but they will play a role in shaping your business with time. For instance, if your country faces economic hardships, your business may not do so well. Technology can have negative or positive impacts on business. Technological developments can help make your work easier and increase your productivity. It can also allow for the expansion of your business. However, it can lead to the reduction of your workforce due to machines, which therefore means loss of jobs for some people. External environments may also affect your ability to acquire loans from banks or other financial institutions. For instance, when the economy goes down, financial institutions don't lend money easily. Sometimes external and internal environments are intertwined. For instance, political and economic issues will affect the availability of a workforce and other resources. They will also affect the availability of finances to the business. During political unrests, most businesses are not able to operate normally and some end up shutting down altogether. Other external environments that can affect the internal environment include legal restrictions. Sometimes laws are passed that affect some businesses. For instance, some of the laws, like the increase of taxes on some goods and services, affect the business. When tanning taxes were increased in America, a lot of Americans stopped going to tanning salons. The business operations were reduced and the clients decreased in numbers. Other factors that can be described as part of the external environment include natural disasters or calamities such as tornadoes, hurricanes and tsunamis. These calamities affect the operation of the business. They affect the workforce, the markets and other resources, and in most cases they lead to the closure of the business due to property destruction. The central difference between internal and external business environments is that one can be controlled while the other one can't. However, you have some control over your internal business environment. You can control your management and resources to ensure that you realize good production levels at your company. External environment, on the other hand, aren't easy to control or manage. In fact, some of these factors can lead to closure of your business. The main reason why the external environments are hard to control is because at times they can be unpredictable. For example, it may be hard to plan ahead for the occurrence of a natural disaster. Furthermore, you may not be in a position to do anything about them when they occur, unlike internal environments that you may be able to control and manage effectively. If you maintain a corporate risk assessment, you can put up measures to deal with any problems that may occur as a result of issues with the internal environment. However, it's hard to prepare for external environments since some of the issues that occur are not predictable. We will now discuss the effect of micro and macro environment. The external business environment consists of a micro and a macro environment. Micro environment. The micro environment consists of the actors in company's immediate environment that affects the performance of the company. These include the suppliers, marketing intermediaries, competitors, customers and the publics. The macro environment consists larger societal forces that affect all the actors in the company's macro environment, namely the demographic, economic, natural, political and cultural resources. It is quite obvious that the micro-environmental factors are more intimately linked with the company than the macro factors. Some of the micro-environment actors are as follows. 1. Suppliers. An important force in the micro-environment of a company is the suppliers. That is, those who supply the inputs like raw materials and components to the company. The importance of reliable sources of supply to the smooth functioning of the business is obvious. Uncertainty regarding the supply or other supply constraints often compels companies to maintain high inventories, causing cost increases. Therefore, it is very risky to depend on a single supplier because a strike, lockout or any other production problem with the supplier may seriously affect the company. Similarly, a change in the attitude or behavior of the supplier may also affect the company. Hence, multiple sources of supply often help reduce such risks. 2. Customers. The major task of a business is to create and sustain customers. a business exists only because of its customers. Monitoring the customer's sensitivity is therefore a prerequisite for the business success. A company may have different categories of consumers like individuals, households, industries and other commercial establishments and government and other institutions. For example, the customers of a tire company may include individual automobile owners, automobile manufacturers, public sector transport undertakings and other transport operators. 3. Competitors. A firm's competitors include not only the other firm which markets the same or similar products, but also those who compete for the discretionary income of the consumer. For example, the competition for a company's television may come not only from other TV manufacturers but also from two-wheelers, refrigerators, cooking ranges, stereo sets and so on. This competition among these products may be described as desire competition, as the primary task here is to influence the basic desire of the consumer. Such desire competition is generally very high in countries characterized by limited disposable incomes and many unsatisfied desires. 4. Marketing intermediaries. The immediate environment of a company may consist of a number of marketing intermediaries which are firms that aid the company in promoting, selling and distributing its goods to final buyers. The marketing intermediaries include middlemen such as agents and merchants who help the company find customers or close sales with them. Physical distribution firms which assist the company in stocking and moving goods from their origin to their destination, such as warehouses and transportation firms. Marketing service agencies which assist the company in targeting and promoting its products to the right markets, such as advertising agency, marketing research firms, etc. 5. Financiers. Another important micro-environmental factor is the finances of the company. Besides the financing capabilities, their policies and strategies, attitudes including attitude towards risk, ability to provide non-financial assistance, etc. are very important. 6. Publics. A company may encounter certain publics in its environment. A public is any group that has an actual or potential interest in or impact on an organization's ability to achieve its interest. Media publics, citizen action publics and local publics are some examples. Some companies are seriously affected by such publics. For example, many leading companies in India were frequently under attack by the media public, particularly by a leading daily which was allegedly bent on bringing down the share prices of the company by tarnishing the image. Macro environment. The macro forces are generally more uncontrollable than the micro forces. When the macro environment is uncontrollable, the success of a company depends on its adaptability to the environment. The macro environment in which a company or sector operates will influence its performance, and the amount of influence will depend on how much of the company's success is dependent on the health of the overall economy. Cyclical industries, for example, are heavily influenced by the macro environment, while consumer staples are less so. Important macro environment factors include economic environment, political and regulatory environment, social, cultural environment, demographic environment, technological environment, natural environment and global environment. Global environment. The global environment refers to those global factors which are relevant to business, such as the WTO principles and agreements and other international conventions, treaties, agreements, declaratives, protocols, etc. Economic and business conditions, sentiments in other countries, etc. Similarly, there are certain developments like a hike in the crude oil price which have the global impact. Let us recapitulate what we have learned so far. Business system consists of two sets of factors, internal and external factors. Internal factors are the factors over which the firm has control. It can alter or modify such factors. External factors are the factors beyond the control of the firm. For example, is economic environment, political environment, legal environment, socio-cultural environment, competitive environment and physical environment. The microenvironment consists of the actors in the company's immediate environment that affects the performance of the company. These include the suppliers, marketing intermediaries, competitors, customers and the publics. The macro environment consists larger societal forces that affect all the actors in the company's micro environment, namely the demographic, economic, natural, political and cultural forces.